Doesn't matter.
Let's see if this works. Come on. Any day. There it goes. All right. I think that worked. I think we're live. Yes, we are live. All right. Monday night, bring it. Welcome, everybody. Having a little technical issue there, but we're getting through it. Welcome. It's your boy, the Big Dog, once again, bringing it to you on Monday night. We got my man Ray representing Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence in the house. What's up, Ray?
What's up? Good day being Jacksonville.
Yeah, so we got Felix, getting the Heisman Trophy winner down there in Philadelphia. What's up, Felix? And we got a special guest. Trey's helping us out tonight, running down in Big D, the home of Micah Parsons. What's up, Trey?
Living large in Texas, baby.
Yeah, exactly, man. The NFL draft was crazy weekend, and we're going to get to that. But I think we need to talk a little bit about the soap opera that is Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers kind of made news over the weekend. Basically, took the wind out of the sail of the draft by saying that he does not want to play in Green Bay anymore. There's been reports that he's got a problem with the GM, a problem with the front office. He's just going on and on. Like last year, you picked the quarterback, and I'm going to do this to you this year. So I don't know what's going to happen. We'll start with you, Ray. Where are you at with this whole Aaron Rodgers thing? Is this all just a smokescreen, or do you think he might not play next year?
Well, one of two things is he might have got a call back for Jeopardy. So, he might want to decide to take that money. He might got paid more than what he's going to get paid in the NFL, in his season. Plus, he got upset. I think he was really upset from last year's draft when he drafted the quarterback that didn't even tell him that they were drafting the quarterback. And then he found word that Brady and Cam Newton, all them got word that they were drafting the quarterback at the first round. So the GM played a backdoor on him, and I think he's just totally frustrated with the situation. And then you got Adams coming to his aid. He said he might not want to re-sign either.
Yeah, I saw that today. Devontae Adams came out and said, you something like you don't know what you got till it's gone, or you got to appreciate what you have so far. So so Felix, he wins the MVP, but yet he's still acting like this. So if he goes, the whole power of the whole entire NFC will swing, in my opinion, right?
So we all know the story about him and his family, how he spited his family after he signed a huge contract because they all wanted to get money off of him and so forth. So if he spited his family and doesn't talk to his family anymore, he could just retire. I don't see him getting traded because he would have to start all over, and he's 37. So how many more years does he have?
2,
possible 3, maybe.
If he plays for the Giants, he's going to get killed. That's the rumors. He's going to get traded to the Giants, but to be honest with you, they don't have a line. They never did.
No.
So I don't know where he would want to play, who would he want to play for, but I think he's probably going to go retire. But I did look up odds.
Mm-hmm.
Ray just talked about the Jeopardy show. He's at plus 10,000 for being the Jeopardy host. So that is not going to happen.
No.
So
That's just odds, though.
right. I think the person that will get that gig is probably the guy Jennings, the guy that ended up winning the gambler that ended up winning the most money on Jeopardy before.
Yeah,
I think he's going to get the gig.
Yeah. Well, I know they have a couple more hosts coming through the yard. I think LeVar Burton's coming through, a couple other people. So it's going to be interesting to see that, And there was actually one of the episodes he hosted, Aaron Rodgers, one of the guests didn't know the Final Jeopardy, so he wrote like, "What is like not kick a field goal" or something like that. And Aaron's just like, "I don't know, I don't know." So Trey, as a Cowboy fan, where are you at with all this Aaron Rodgers stuff?
I'm where I was to begin with. I really don't care about crybaby Aaron Rodgers. I'm sick of this guy. It's all he does. He doesn't take any ownership of himself. It's never his fault. It's someone else's fault. It's a recurring thing. Yeah, he has no help, but yet he gets into the NFC Championship game like LeBron James makes it to the finals, but he doesn't win the big ones. You know what I mean? LeBron James, yes, has won 4 titles, but one lucky Super Bowl in 2011. Other than that, he's 1-4 in the NFC Championship games. Tom Brady threw 3 interceptions in that game. And what did Aaron Rodgers do in all those after those picks? Went 3 and out.
Right.
I'm sorry. I mean, you got to put the blame on yourself too. And it's always something else. And now it's this, and now it's that. Yeah, I didn't agree with them drafting a quarterback last year. It's kind of like an FU to Aaron Rodgers, like, oh, this is what we're going to do. And Love, it's not even a first-round draft, not even a third-round draft pick, if you ask me, from last year. And then the Green Bay gave him another big old FU whenever they picked a cornerback.
Right.
Instead of going they had a possibility of getting one of these great – this is a receiver draft class.
Yeah.
But this is just Aaron Rodgers creating drama. He ain't going to retire. He ain't going to get traded. He just wants the GM to do something. He just wants them to do – but this is Green Bay. Green Bay doesn't do anything special in free agency. They hardly ever do. And all 3 major quarterbacks in Green Bay, Brett Favre, Starr, and they all did not – no quarterback has played more than 17 seasons for one team. And Aaron Rodgers, this is coming up right now. And so that's something to hang your hat over to. Will he get traded? If he does get traded, you're going to look like he's going to get traded. I'd say Denver.
Right.
I think Denver Broncos are the perfect fit for him. Hey, Jerry Jeudy looked really good. So it's
Definitely.
nothing. He'll be back with Green Bay next year. He'll still be whining, crying, and doing that super double check thing, get MVP, but then crap out again. I don't care about him.
Definitely. All right. Looks like your daughter has something to say too, Trey.
Dude, she's quiet all the freaking day, and then I get on the podcast.
That's okay. It's all good. It's all good. No worries. Yeah, Denver would be an interesting mix. There was talk, because Elway brought Manning over, and now they're saying, they can bring Aaron Rodgers over to do the same thing over again. But they're a different team now than they were. They don't have the depth in the defense, and with Von Miller coming off that serious injury, I don't know if that would be a good choice. Well, let's move on with quarterbacks. Quarterbacks were a big talk in this draft. The big 5, as they were saying, Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, Mac Jones, and Trey Lance did not go in that order. Frisco, everyone knew Lawrence was going number 1. Everyone knew Zach Wilson was going number 2. And then Frisco jumps up, and they decided to get Trey Lance, Then Chicago makes a move and trades with the Giants, jumps up and gets Justin Fields. And there's Mac Jones sitting there for New England. So Bill Belichick didn't have to do anything, and he got his guy. So I'm going to go to Felix because, my team and your team have both beaten Belichick and the Patriots in the Super Bowl. So, what does this mean? They're saying that he's going to be the backup and Newton's going to be the starter. Do you really think that's going to hold true, or do you think Mac Jones is going to end up starting?
Newton will start the season, but he's going to end up getting benched. To be honest with you, I think, Mac Jones is in the best system to succeed. Trevor Lawrence, first year jitters. I doubt that he'll, impress the way he should impress, but, Zach Wilson is a Jets bust, just like every other Jets pick. Trey Lance played less than a year. So,
Well,
Who
he's a
knows
pro.
what's
They're
gonna-
saying he's a project. They're saying,
right, but you don't mortgage the future for a project. They
right.
gave up 2 first-round picks for him, and then who else went? And then we have Justin
Fields at 11.
where the Bears did the right thing. They did the right, but the thing is, he's not going to succeed there. They don't have a line. He's going to get killed out there. So Mac Jones going to the Patriots, probably he might be the one that will succeed out of all of them, because the Jets, they're not going to do anything. Wilson, I mean, he's just a sexy name right now. That's about it. I think the Jets should just start all over and start building from the ground up. Start building a line. Start building a defense. If Mac Jones should be, starting by mid-season.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right. So, Ray, let's go to you. You guys got the number 1 pick, Trevor Lawrence, building around him. They go and get his teammate, Travis Etienne. I think we talked about that, about them possibly getting Travis Etienne in the first round. So now they've got that dual backfield of Etienne and Robinson. How confident are you with Lawrence coming in now, with his teammate there, with what Urban's trying to build there? I mean, I think the Jags had a hell of a draft. I really do.
Yeah, the Jaguars, I think they had a good draft. I think they picked up Trevor Lawrence, due to the fact that he's a well-known commodity. He's established himself. He's got a good presence about himself. And I believe I'm going to disagree with Felix. I think Trevor Lawrence is not going to come in here with first-day jitters. I think he is built to be the NFL quarterback. I think he has the knowledge of the system. They gave him the playbook ahead of time, about 5 weeks ahead before the draft. He already had the playbooks in his hand. So he's got the familiar with the playbook. Now, again, Travis Etienne is going to give him a benefit, because if they do a lot of running back screens, he can break that -2 yard, turn it into a home run. That gives him a good 1-2 punch, and Robertson. But the way Urban Meyer has described, Robinson is going to be a first down back. Second down back is going to be Carlos Hyde. And then it's going to be Travis Etienne as the third down back, because he's going to do running back by committee right now. And I don't agree with that. I agree with, Robertson being the first and second down back, and then bringing Travis Etienne in a certain situation. But they also talking about moving him into a slot wide receiver too in certain plays. And I think he's going to be, he showed some good route runnings at Clemson last year. That's why he went back to college, to improve his route run, improve his skills. And him and Travis Lawrence has been working out over the offseason here before he coming in here, and didn't know they were going to get picked with each other. That was totally a surprise, because you can tell by the reaction when they got here in Jacksonville on Saturday during that press conference. But I think over the whole, Jaguar draft is pretty good. But they got what they needed. I think the surprise would be the tight end. They didn't pick it at number 45, the Penn State tight end. They still got the Ohio State tight end and Fluger. I think he might be a pretty good pass. He's not going to be a blocking tight end, because he can't block with the flip, but he can catch coming out of the tight end position. But then if you look at the other quarterbacks taking the Jets, I think Wilson is going to be like a project, but him and his demeanor, the way the BYU coach talked about him, he'll get down in the trenches. He'll go and do the extra effort to get his abilities to match up. But I think, like Phil said, they don't have anything around him. I mean, he's going to be garbage. And they just need to pick up some more offensive linemen, try to make some trades or something to get a better offensive line, or so he can be running for his life all season long. And, he could end up getting hurt. And then I think the biggest miss is San Francisco. I think this trade Lance do is going to be a project, but you don't risk a third pick in the first round for a project. I think they should have got Fields. I think Fields was the biggest loser out of all the quarterbacks, falling to number 11. He was a top 5 pick all the way up, and they told him he was going to be a top 5 pick. I think if we known that he was going to drop to like 10 or 11, I think he would have gone back to Ohio State for another year and come out in the following year. That's just my opinion. And then Mac Jones just fell right in the laps of New England. And then I think the steal of the quarterbacks is with Tampa Bay guy in Trask.
Oh, the kid out of Florida at the end of the second round. Yeah, that was Very clever pick there. Very, very clever pick. So Trey, so like, you know, your team has a quarterback. You just spent a buttload of money on your quarterback. So like, how do you feel about all these quarterbacks, you know, that came out, you know, a big rookie class this year once again, you know? Do you agree with Ray? Do you agree with Felix? What are your thoughts?
I personally think Felix hit it right with the Jets and Zach Wilson. He's a sexy pick. I don't know why. I called him a bust as soon as everyone said he was the second pick. The Jets are going to jet. I don't think he's I think he's going to be a Josh Rosen kind of player. I don't think he's going to see – if 1 year of playing, he's going to be awful. I don't think he's going to be anything there special that anyone thinks he is. But I disagree. I think Mac Jones is also a bust. I seriously do. I don't see it, whatever the people see. Yeah, he had all those gaudy numbers and everything at Alabama. But look who he's throwing to for those 2 years. Waddle, Devontae Smith. Najee Harris catching balls out of the outfit. You had all these great wide receivers. And me and you could throw to these wide receivers. They were that wide open for Alabama this year. I'm just telling you. I just don't see the glitz and glamour. Yeah, the Patriots got their guy, but I still don't think Mac Jones is going to be that great of a quarterback. That's just I could be wrong. I've been wrong before, but I just don't see it and stuff. So I think the Bears did great. I think the Bears did what they did when they traded up. I thought it was a perfect thing. I think Justin Fields was the overall number 2 overall pick. You saw it against Clemson in the college football semifinal game against Clemson, right? You saw him go berserk over Clemson, right. And Clemson had one of the greatest defense of all time, not of all time, but had a pretty good defense all season long. He went berserk. Yeah, he can get you out of trouble. He can scramble for yards. He can take kids. The only reason he fell, I think, is because that medical issue that came out that he had epilepsy. Even though he hasn't missed any game, it hasn't affected him. But I think some NFL teams kind of got scared on that. And Trey Lance, I love Trey Lance. I think Trey Lance is going to be a great quarterback in this league. But like you said, he only played 1 year. He didn't play this year or last year. I mean, for God's sake, his team's playing right now in spring ball, and
right.
and he was in the NFL draft. I mean, he has a great arm strength, he has the accuracy, he has the speed, he has everything that you want. But I don't know about learning behind Jimmy G. I don't know if that's just the greatest fit in the world to learn someone behind. But Kyle Shanahan's a great quarterbacks coach. He knows what to do. I think he'll thrive in that offense. But honestly, I think Trevor Lawrence is going to come out swinging. I think he's going to have a great year. I think it's a perfect marriage with him and Urban Meyer. I think Urban Meyer is a really good coach. I think he's a really good play caller. He'll fit the system to make Trevor Lawrence feel more comfortable. And then adding ETN, the chemistry that they already have, now they're bringing it to Jacksonville is even going to be top-notch in the NFL, even though the speed's faster and everything in the NFL. But I just think that knowing that caliber player, I just think that the chemistry is going to mesh really well right there. And also Jacksonville kind of talked – I haven't heard anything else on this – is bringing Tim Tebow in as a tight end or trying out, as you can say. Even if he is a backup or whatever the case may be, but bringing him into the locker room and guiding Trevor Lawrence, even though he wasn't a great quarterback, but he can give him some guidance on how the league works and everything like that. I think that would be a great fit. But I think Urban Meyer's a great coach. I think Jacksonville's on the rise. I think they had one of the best drafts in the draft. I think Jacksonville's like going places, and I think that they're easily going to make the playoffs in 2 or 3 years.
I'm going to pick back off that. Yeah, they did have Tebow come in. They're not commenting right now because the draft went on. They're trying to get everything straight. But they did. And another instant article came out was Urban Meyer is next door neighbor to Tim Tebow here in Jacksonville.
Oh, wow. So, that's it. Wow, I did not know that. All right, Ray, can we play that video? Do you think you can play it?
Me? Or Nate?
No. Yeah. He couldn't download it, so I think you have to play it from your end if you can do that. Everyone, Ray was at Jacksonville Stadium Thursday night for the number 1 pick. It was a whole big event. He took some video and he put together like a little 4-minute thing for us. So, yeah, Ray, if you can get that happening, that'd be really cool to share that with everybody.
Yeah, let me get to it real quick here.
Awesome, very, very cool. All right, so while we're waiting for Ray to get to that, so Felix, are you happy with Devontae Smith as far as getting into Philly?
Yeah. I really believe we needed a corner, but they were both gone. So,
right.
Jalen Hurts needs as many weapons as he can get, and the only thing is he's small, but Look at Deshaun Jackson. You know,
Right.
Kill-
Exactly.
Yeah,
he
so,
could be another Deshaun Jackson. Exactly.
and that's the hope.
Right. All right. Let's see what we got.
Here we go. Well, I can probably narrate a little bit.
Yeah,
This
go
is
ahead,
just- This is just the entrance right here into the stadium. So this is where we're waiting here. There's a few seconds here. I did progressions as the night went on. Just me walking to the stadium. That's the big amphitheater right there in front of you, going to the escalators, the Daly's place. That's where they had all the Dailies. This is me showing the wall right here. And as it gets closer, you'll see my name on here. This is me as my season ticket owner within the 9 years and stuff like this. This is at the stadium itself. So as it gets closer, when I get down, you see my name right there.
There you go. There you go.
That's my name right there on the wall. So that's just as your years go on, you progress on. That's the view from my seat. We're sitting in pods, so that's why it looks so empty. There's only 6,000 people there. And that's the stage they had. That just showed me my little attire that I have for Jacksonville fans sitting in the stands, dancing around a little bit to the music. And they're doing Blaine Gabbert because that was the first pick in the draft. They were just going over some of the number 1 picks that we had in the draft. And then eventually, that Blake Bortles, they had a lot of food. And they showed the wardroom.
That's funny.
This is coming off the big scoreboard deal we had.
Okay.
The big video.
Okay. Cool.
And they show the fans and stuff in Cleveland. It gets a little blurry here because I'm trying to straighten it out because the lights changed on me.
Right.
So then it's going to come back up, and then it's going to show. Talk a little bit about it. So we get a little caption of the draft.
All right. Cool.
So this is leading up to the first pick of the draft right here. And you're going to hear everybody, all the people that came in the stadium, they let the fans come up on the stage and sit in this chair.
With the first pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Trevor Lawrence.
The stand goes erupt. Then I try to get in a little bit of hair and we'll turn sideways just a tad here. So try to get all the fireworks and stuff.
Cool.
Now I'll go back to it. You can tell we were all spread out.
Right.
So what would you like to say to those fans?
And then there's him coming in. They couldn't land him in the helicopter, couldn't get a thing, so they brought him in on the school board.
To be coming down to Jacksonville,
Talking to the fans.
I think it's a great fit. Me and my family, we're just so excited to be down there. Thank you guys for all the support already. We're not even there yet. Definitely feel the love and support, and really excited just to bring some energy to the city and do everything in my power to get us back to where we want to be. So thank you guys so much. It's going to be a really fun year, and just know that once I get there, all my focus, all my attention is making us the best we can be. So thank you guys. Thanks, Ashley.
And that's it.
You know what I just realized?
Go ahead.
Blake Bortles, Blaine Gabbert, Trevor Lawrence, all had great hair when they got drafted.
Yeah. Yeah. That is
Great
true.
long hair.
And that comes from all of us who have no hair, right?
But there is a Trevor Lawrence female walking around Jacksonville.
Yeah, I saw that.
They picked that out in Orange Park Mall. Some girl was in there, didn't know what was going on. She had a bandana on and stuff. And then some guy started catching with the cell phone, walking around behind her. And so she finally asked the guy, says, "Hey, why are you walking behind me?" He said, "Oh, you look like Trevor Lawrence." And then it turned around, it's a female. So they had her come to the stadium and did some stuff at the stadium for the news and stuff. So
That is crazy. That is absolutely crazy.
but then again, when Trevor Lawrence came here on Saturday, they had all the third graders waiting outside for him and stuff like that on Saturday. So
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Hey,
Wow.
Ray, I got a quick question for you since you're a huge Jacksonville Jaguar fan.
Mhm.
Did you have a problem with what Trevor Lawrence said before the draft?
No, it's just his opinion. I mean,
Thank you.
I don't feel everybody's opinion. If he's got opinion, they're free to whatever they want to say. I mean, some fans in Jacksonville, they get sensitive over one loss in a season. You know, beginning of the game. Oh, we started out 1-0. Oh, then we end up losing the last 15, 16 games. You know, only won one game of the season. You know, they get fired up real quick here. But you got to let the progression go. You got to let, you're back into that remodel mode. Now the owner of Shah Khan is getting more involved than he did the previous years that he owned the team. So now he's getting more involved. And I think he's got Urban Myers who's coming in here, and he's done it. I think he's done an excellent job. He surprised me with most of the stuff because not only he's doing with the football team, he's out reaching out in the community. He went to the Springfield area, which is our project type area. He went to all the business in there, showing that he's not scared to go in that area. And he took his football team in there and started meeting everybody and stuff. And this week he's supposed to take Trevor Lawrence in there and let him start meeting everybody in that. So I think he's building the community the right way. He's going where they need to be, progressing in there. And he's talking about that in a few years. He's already told Shah Khan they need to go ahead and develop the stadium and stuff like that. And what their Jacksonville interesting plan is, they're going to remodel the stadium during the seasons as you go. So you might see construction in there trying to build the stadium back up to where it meets the new criteria. And that's what the NFL is trying to come in here saying that, oh, yeah, Jacksonville's got one of the not the oldest stadium, but it's getting there. It's getting time for a revamp. It's time for, make some changes. And that's when Shah Khan added the amphitheater, added the big scoreboards, added the new club section of the stadium. So I think Urban Meyer has come in here and is taking another step up. And as eventually you see going on, they're building a new hotel across the street from the stadium where the visiting teams will come and stay at instead of downtown. So they won't have to bus them so far over and coming through the downtown area. Because like the Patriots, they stayed in Ponte Vedra, which is about 45 minutes to the stadium out in St. Johns County. So now they're trying to build that up a little bit, and then taking the parking lot J and stuff like that and making it into more of a pre-game tailgate party type atmosphere like they had in St. Louis at the stadiums and stuff. So I mean, Urban Meyer has come in and done the right things. He's taught the right say, but now he's got to take what he's saying and produce it to this football team. And as we've seen, as the coaches come in here, the new coaches come here, they practice well, but the practice field doesn't translate to the football field. We need the practice field to translate here, and then that's where Urban Meyer is going to hold every player accountable. And I think this is the first time we had a coach that can hold the team accountable than the first time Coughlin was here, who handled the team accountable, and that's why they got all this rare narrative when he started winning in the 90s, with Jimmy Smith and Keenan McCardell and the stuff. So now, as coaches went on, the downgrade of discipline went down. And so now Urban Meyer's bringing the discipline, and he's got that key word, own it. That's what their whole emphasis is. You got to own it. And the way he's going to hold the team accountable is if you're late for practice, you're late for anything, you might as well not. He said even talking about it, he said you might not even suit up. That's what kind of ownership that he's going to have in this team. He says that fans deserves it, and he knows it. He knows the history because he was down in Florida at University of Florida when all this losing was going on and all the fans. And he came up here a couple of times to watch the games and stuff. So he knows how the atmosphere is. And he's talking about he wants to get the stadium filled back when it was in the 90s. And when this stadium gets full, this is one of the loudest stadiums in the NFL.
Yeah, we've got a good head coach in Urban Meyer. I wish Dallas would have got him.
What did Trevor Lawrence say? I might have missed it.
He said that he didn't have a chip on his shoulder because they was saying, and the press was saying, well, how could you not have a chip on your shoulder and go into the league? Well, I mean, he's been successful at the college level. He's won at the high school level. So he comes from money. So they were saying, he's some rich kid, whatever, doesn't have a chip on his shoulder. And as Ray said, what's the difference? If a winner is a winner, if you can win at any level, you don't have to have this chip on your shoulder and be pissed off.
I think most people are taking that out of context. The way he's saying it, most players come in here with chips on their shoulders. I understand because you miss all these picks. He's the first pick in the NFL draft, so he really doesn't have a chip on his shoulder because he's the first player drafted. So he's using another form of things, saying that I'm privileged in this, I'm privileged in that, but he takes his privileges and does stuff outside of the community.
Right.
He's already started here in Jacksonville. He's already taken he's taken his dad's money so far here in Jacksonville. He's going around to the different elementary schools in the bad sectors here. There are DC schools, and trying to rebuild them. And he's already started that effect over in Orange Park. So
that's great.
He's he's a humble guy. He doesn't take his celebrity personally. He's the same guy as he was in high school, and you can see his progression and stuff like that. But he's doing more things outside the community, and he's showing leadership through another means. And then, as ETN came here and said why he was hoping he'd get picked by Jacksonville, who don't want to play with Trevor Lawrence, and that was the theme all up in Clemson.
Well, here's the thing too. Unless the Jacksonville Jaguars go 17-0 this year, which is not going to happen.
No,
this will be the first time he loses a regular season game in his career. Junior high school. I mean, that's all you got to say about the guy there.
Exactly.
He was the first projected pick 2 years in a row if he would have declared
he was
last
the first
year.
projected came out of high school.
So how can he have a chip on his shoulder?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? He has no
media. It's the media trying to build something up because there's nothing on this kid. There's nothing on. They're trying to build a story up.
Exactly. There were even some so-called experts saying, "Oh, I wouldn't draft him first, whatever." It's like the kid's got all the tools, and and talking about Urban Meyer, we were saying about Urban Meyer. Yes, he was a college coach, but this is a college coach with a championship pedigree, who's won. He took a Utah program, brought him out of the toilet into a winning program. Then he went to Florida, he won there. Then he went to Ohio State, he won there. So he knows how to win. He knows how to motivate men. And yes, he's motivating men who are, have a lot of more money, and who have big contracts and this and that. But I think this will be one of the few college coaches who get into the pros who will be very successful long term. I mean, going to Philly, Chip Kelly, his first year, it worked. And then it didn't work. But what he tried to do was different. It was, what he tried to do was more physical, was that run, like what he was doing in Oregon. So those guys just got tired and they're like, screw this. We ain't running that hard,
Well, we had Sam Bradford at quarterback, so we couldn't throw the ball either.
Exactly.
I like the way Urban Meyer created a staff. He got some NFL experience. He got some college experience. He got coaches that coached with him. But his offense coordinator, he never coached with him. He just knew him by word of mouth. So he's got staffs where they need to be. And this is the first time that the Jaguars has a staff that actually knows how to implement a defense and a defensive coordinator who knows how to run a defense.
Right.
So, exactly. This is going to be a totally different thing. And then what Jaguars had on defense is not as bad as people thought, but they were played out of position. Like Chason, who came out of LSU. He was a defensive end, but in the NFL, he's more of a linebacker. And this year, he's going to be an outside linebacker. And they're going to do the New York Giants back when they had Lawrence Taylor in them.
Yep.
They're going to try to do a defense, something like that. It's going to be a hybrid style 4-3/3-4 with an outside linebacker, and you're going to have Chason playing his correct spot, hands off the ground, and let him do his speed rush. So you're going to see a different Jaguars team.
There you are.
Oh, definitely. All right, so I just want to move on. So, after the draft, there's always the armchair quarterback, who did well, overall winners, overall losers. So let's just quickly go around and say, what team you think did really well in the draft, what team you think swung and just missed on all cases. So Trey, let's start with you. So what team do you think you did really well in the draft?
Oh, there's a lot of people teams that did really well. I was actually very pleased with this draft. A lot of teams did very well, and you got within. I think Chicago. I think Justin Fields is a 10-time better upgrade than what Trubisky is, and the way they drafted and came up from 20th to 12th to get the quarterback that they desperately need. I think he's a real deal. I think they easily won. I think they're one of the winners in this draft. But don't sleep on the Cincinnati Bengals either. The Cincinnati Bengals, they improved their offensive line in the offseason. Everyone thought they were going to get the kid out of Oregon, but they went wide receiver Chase, reignited. this draft was basically a reunion. You have all these quarterbacks reuniting with the receivers, or quarterbacks reuniting with the running back, stuff like that. So I think the Bengals, Dolphins did well. Dolphins did it right. Dolphins have been doing it right for the last 3 years. I think I'll say that for later, but I just think, honestly, I think probably the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Miami Dolphins probably won this draft.
All right, cool. Phil, so who do you think did well?
I think Dallas did well. They did very well. They got linebackers out the wazoo.
I didn't want to jinx them. That's why I didn't say that.
I'm just being honest. They got someone to replace Sean Lee. I think the Bears did okay, but they still need a lot of help with linemen. Justin Fields is a dead man out there. They're going to need a lot of help, but the big, and I think the Colts did bad too. I think the Colts did really bad. Costanzo just retired their left tackle, and they draft Payne, defensive end, who only had 2 sacks from Michigan.
Right.
I think that's a waste. I think they should have got Carson some help blocking. But I also think I'm going to have to disagree with you, Trey. I think the Dolphins had a bad draft.
Really?
They gave up a first-round pick to get a player that would have been there at 12. Waddle wasn't going anywhere. They were just upset because Jamar Chase was taking the pick before. If you think about it, they gave the Eagles a first-round pick to get the same player that they would have had at 12.
That's true.
So I think that they played themselves. They just took that pick out of spite, I believe. I don't think that was their number one receiver. I believe it was Chase. To be honest with you, if I'm the Dolphins, I'm reamping that line. Tua's going to run for his life. So, I think that. But I think, and the Jets are huge losers in this draft. They always take the sexy pick, and they always fail.
This wasn't even a sexy pick, though. That's what's crazy.
I
about
mean,
this.
he was the sexy name going around. Oh my God, yeah.
Well,
But
because
I mean, to be honest,
I agree with you. I agree with you totally. I just, me personally, I don't think it was.
but the thing is, you rebuild the team through defense and the offensive line.
Yep.
They could have traded back, stocked up on picks, and rebuilt that team. Now they're acting like this year they're gonna, do something. They're not doing anything. Not in that division. That's Buffalo's division right now. They're nowhere near beating Buffalo. So yeah, that's my take.
Exactly. Before we move on to Ray Phillips, I just want to get your take on Philadelphia's draft. Yahoo Sports is giving them a B+. I mean, what do you think? No?
No. We're looking at like a C minus, something like that. I'm very happy with Smith. I believe the second round pick's name is Logan
Landon Dickerson from Alabama.
He's been hurt. He had 4 surgeries already. I get it. He could be a great guard. But if he can't stay healthy in college, what do you think he's going to do in NFL?
Right.
So I'm not too happy about that. We could have got Asante Samuel Jr. on that. Could have helped us in the cornerbacks. That's what I was hoping for, but we traded back in, I believe, the 3rd round when there was a player that we wanted from FSU, the cornerback, Robinson, I believe. Right. And we traded back and got a 6th round pick out of it, and we missed out on him because the lovely Giants took him. But we gave him to the Giants. But again, the 1st round pick is a home run, but after that, it's sort of okay.
All right. So Ray, I'm assuming in general you're happy with Jacksonville's draft, correct?
That is correct. We spent enough on them already. So
all right. So is there another team you think did real well, and then who do you think just failed miserably?
I'm gonna tell you who failed miserably, and that's the Carolina Panthers, and I'm gonna tell you why. Michael Parsons was there at number 8. They went J.C. Horn at cornerback. Now, what I tell y'all last on Monday was Carolina should have drafted Michael Parsons because he would have been another Luke Kuechly. That's their defense is set a predecessor by that middle linebacker. It has been. It always has been. It has been when Kuechly was there, when Davis was there. So now you have Michael Parsons, who could be another, Luke Kuechly for the Carolina defense, another solid player. But guess what? Dallas Cowboys went and traded down and still got him at number 12. So I'm gonna tell you what, this guy right here is I watched him at Penn State. I watched a lot of Penn State games because down here and up there and where I was at, it was a lot of Penn State stuff. And I have seen him play. He goes side to side, up and down, back and forth, and can cover guys at the tight end position. So you're going to see the Dallas Cowboys improve on the defense, even though Lee is retired, because of this guy right here. This guy is a dynamite. He lets fire the defense. He's like a Michael Jordan it was in basketball to his team, let the other players up. He's going to turn these other players up 100%. And if you don't give him 100%, he's going to let you know about it because he's the one of them guys that come off the field and you mess up a play, he's going to let you know about it. So, I mean, the Cowboys, I think they've had a good pick right there. I think Carolina Panthers lost miserably. I have nothing against Horn in the cornerback position, but the Carolina didn't need that. The most needed was that linebacker position because in the last 3 or 4 years, they lost Davis. They lost Kuechly to retirement. So now the Panthers got freaking, even though they did draft Marshall in the later rounds, they got a good wide receiver. But that defense, Horn is not going to be the difference in that defense. Yeah. That linebacker position is going to be the difference.
This is where don't you take the best available, like if who you had at number, maybe the Panthers had them Horn at number 1, they were going to take him no matter what. Don't you do that? Like if you're not really like instead of second guessing, like we double guess these general managers all the time. If Horn's the number 1 guy that they want, and Horn's a hell of a player, I loved Horn better than Surtain. I never wanted Surtain as a Dallas Cowboy. I was really pissed off in the Panthers, but it wasn't an awful pick. But I get what you're saying about Parsons. He's a totally different playmaker. He can guard tight ends. He's all over the field. He makes the players accountable. I'm glad he's a Cowboy. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they also need a cornerback help as well.
Well, but if you look at Parsons and you look at the way their defense set up, yeah, but the defense, the way they have this set up the last 3 or 4 years, it's been based on their linebacker position because their D-line can hold up people. The linebackers fill in, make the plays. And if you see some of the teams, like they let the tight ends go on the pass coverage and stuff, and they were getting killed by the tight ends. That's what beat them most of the last year. So if you put Parsons in there, you're going to deflate that tight end position because he can either rush or he can play the tight end. So, I mean, I understand what they're trying to do, but I don't think Horn was on number 1 on their draft list, but he could have been because they did draft him number 8.
So, me being from the Philly area, we get Penn State games a lot. And the thing is with Parsons is he has a couple off-the-field issues. And that's probably why he slipped.
Great fit for the Cowboys.
Exactly. Exactly. That's Jerry's guy.
He'll but being J.C. Horn went to Carolina because he played for Coastal Carolina. They wanted to keep the hometown kid. And I think that Surtain was better than him. I mean, he did play in the SEC. He did cover better receivers. But I mean, hey, look, they got their guy. That's the end of that. And I think it's a down year for the Panthers anyway. They got Sam Darnold throwing the ball. So, I mean, what can you expect? What can you expect?
I think Sam Darnold is in the best. I'm glad he got to New York, like he said. I have yet to see. I think there's still potential in Sam Darnold. He can still.
There is, but the thing is, he's not going to succeed in Carolina. Who are their receivers?
Well, we got Robbie Anderson and
that's it.
Somebody else I can't think of right now.
But we don't know how good Marshall's going to be out of LSU.
The thing is, they don't have a line. They don't. They play in the South where they have to put up points.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you different.
The Falcons and not put up points.
I'm going to tell you different though. When you play up in New York, you got to have a tough skin because those medias will eat you alive, and I think that's what happened to Donald's. Is the media in Carolina? You're not gonna have these media eating you alive like they do up in New York. And I think what happens to some of the quarterbacks up in New York that can't handle the media. If you can't handle the media up there, you're not gonna be playing up in New York. I mean, you're from New York, and the media is tough up there.
Oh, it is.
Again, he came from USC, so he's a California kid. I remember when the Eagles drafted Matt Barkley a couple of years ago with Chip Kelly. And it was the media got him, and he started freaking out, started yelling at him. because he
Yeah.
wasn't ready for it. Like Philly's not New York, but I mean, we're right there, yelling and screaming.
Oh,
at
you
the
guys,
Yeah.
you guys boo Santa
Well-
Claus. You're tougher than New York.
Well,
I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna tell you.
We didn't boo him. We threw snowballs at him. All right, it's a big difference.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you. I went up to Philly, and I went to an Eagles game. I told my friend not to wear a visiting team jersey at all. I told him not to wear anything visiting team. Literally, he was standing there. It was a snow game. Dude put batteries inside a snowball, threw it at him, hit him in the back of his head. He had to go get stitches in the head because
man.
he had battery. And we're looking at the snowball. I said, I told you not to do it. He said, "What I get hit with a bunch of batteries." So those fans up there, they now when the Army Navy game was up there, it was even worse than the Army Navy game.
What jersey did he wear? I'll tell you what.
He wore the Washington Redskins, and I told him not to.
Come on!
Come on, you don't do that.
Why would you do that? Oh my God!
You don't do that. You don't do that. Oh man. All right. Well, I quickly want to talk about my highs and lows. I want to talk about the Giants draft. When the Giants made that trade at 11, I was like, "What in God's name are you doing?" Because I was like, Micah Parsons is there. Draft Micah Parsons. I'm yelling at the TV. You can ask my wife. I'm like, draft Micah Parsons. And then they trade out. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, So they trade down. They get this kid out of Florida. I was not crazy about him at first. I watched some tape, did some research. The kid's okay. He could be a slot guy if he's got good hands. Could be, he's an athlete. He's quick. The one guy I do like the Giants getting, I do like the edge rusher they got, Azeez Ojulari out of Georgia. That kid is quick. That kid is fast off the edge. When you're playing at a top program, defensive program out of the SEC, you got to know how to play ball. So that's kind of the one draft choice I like. In general, I'm not crazy about the Giants draft class. They didn't get a lineman, although I know they signed some guys in the offseason, so we'll see. The team that I like, what they did a lot, the Chargers, I think, did superior well. I mean, the Chargers did so well this year. They got that offensive lineman. They're building the offensive line for their quarterback for I'm drawing a blank right now on his name. Thank you for Justin Ebert. Yeah, so I think the Chargers did extremely well, and I love what Jacksonville did. I absolutely love what Jacksonville did. I think what they're building up there is crazy, and it just move forward. All right, so there's always a player that's like a steal in the draft. A player that I can't believe he was there, or I can't believe he dropped that far. Mine is Dallas getting Micah Parsons. I thought Parsons would be a top 6, top 8 draft choice. So Parsons dropping that far is the steal for me. What about you, Felix?
I said it earlier. It's going to be Asante Samuel Jr. going to the Chargers in the second round. He's a steal. He's a late first rounder that's what they were predicting, and he fell all the way to the Chargers, middle of the second. So that's a steal. I wish the Eagles would have taken him.
Yeah, he would have. I mean, he would have looked good just wearing his dad's number and just,
I only get paid on Tuesdays.
All right, what about you, Ray? Who was the steal of the draft?
Well, I'm going to go to your Giants, and I'm going to say Kadarius Toney, wide receiver out of Florida, because this guy is a breakaway speed. He's a touchdown happen. You could throw him the ball 5 yards behind the end zone. He can behind the line of scrimmage and bust that 60, 70 yard and 80 yard, 95 yards for a touchdown. And the next thing you know, if you want to put a gimmick play in, he can also pass the ball because he did it a few times this year at the University of Florida. So I think he's going to be the steal because he can also be a punt returner. He can also be a wide receiver. He can also play quarterback. So he's got 3 different positions, and he's a utility guy. And I think the Giants made a good pick because the Giants didn't pick him there. Sure it was. I don't think Travis Etienne would be here in Jacksonville. Kadarius Toney would have been here at that 25th pick.
Wow, interesting. Yeah, because I know there was an article that Urban Meyer really wanted that kid on Jacksonville. So that's definitely interesting. What about you, Trey? Who was the steal of the draft for you?
I got to go hometown, man. Michael Parsons getting him deeper in the draft. When they could have had him at 10, they traded out and still got him. Oh, Michael Parsons. Oh, that's a steal. And I guess Justin Fields, man, people missed out. Bears got a steal. Yes, I know they have offensive line trouble, but the Bears got their quarterback. What the Bears did was perfect because anything's better than Mike Trubisky. So that's who
they got the red rifle starting.
Oh, dude, he's a dude. I didn't even like that backup signing. You saw how good he was with Dallas last year, right?
Exactly, but
Didn't
they
beat a
promised
New
him a
York
starting
Giants.
position. So Fields is probably going to be on the bench.
I don't think so.
Well, at least the Chicago Bears did tell Dalton that they're going to go draft a quarterback.
Yeah. He's got more
Exactly.
respect than Rodgers.
Yep.
Exactly.
That's sad,
So
that's sad.
I'm looking at some of the odds right here on the Vegas Insider page, and there's a couple interesting numbers. Now this wasn't updated. Okay, yeah, it says odds to win the Super Bowl 26-22. I'm not sure when this was updated, but you know they still have Kansas City and Green Bay and Tampa, you know, the top three, but they have Seattle at plus 2,200, which I think is an interesting number because I think Seattle had a terrible draft. I don't think they got anything really to help Russell Wilson. So
Well, remember they gave up their picks for Jamal Adams.
right.
So that's why the Jets drafted twice. So they really didn't do much. So it's hard to even say anything
It is
positive
hard.
or negative about them.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. Good.
I want to go back in who had the worst draft real quick. Team one, Houston Texans.
They have none.
They barely had any picks, although they drafted the quarterback out of Stanford, which was interesting.
He's going to be good, but they have nobody on this team, man. I mean, I just feel.
It's a rebuild. It's a rebuild.
They're definitely a rebuild.
Even though they had late draft picks, they didn't have any first or second round.
Yeah,
they didn't really do anything to help their team.
Yeah.
Remember that third overall pick was Houston's pick, and then the Dolphins got it. Then they traded it to San Fran.
Right, it's crazy. I think whatever the win total is on Houston I think take the under this year, especially if Deshaun doesn't play, take the under, no doubt, no doubt. All right, so the draft is done. Everyone likes to say, everyone likes to make another Monday morning prediction about, all right, this team improved itself. They might make the playoffs. So let's just go hot take here. So after this draft, what team do you think who wasn't a playoff team has become a playoff team? And then what team who was a playoff team isn't going to be in the dance next year? You know, I'll start with you, Ray. What do you think?
Team that was out of the playoff last year is Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville will be a wild card team this year. Yeah.
Hot take. There you go. That's a hot take. Well, I love it. I love it.
The team that might be out of the playoffs, I'm not sure exactly which one it would be. Probably Green Bay, maybe, if Aaron Rodgers does get gone. So,
that's interesting. What about you, Trey?
I'm kind of torn because there's two teams for who's going to get in. I think Arizona gets in, with just not from the draft, but from the offseason moves that they had. I think they did do very well, and I think Dallas is going to get in. If Dak Prescott stays healthy, they got. We all know about Dan Quinn and everything like that, but he's a great defensive coordinator. And I think he's going to help that defense drive a little bit better this year. I mean, anything's better than what they put up last year. That was ridiculous.
Right.
Team not going to get in. Oh my God. Wow, my God. See, I'm going to say Seattle.
Okay. All right. What about you, Felix?
I think the team that won't get in is Washington.
Yeah.
Did they even draft? I don't even remember seeing them draft. So.
Yeah, they drafted somebody. I don't know who.
Yeah. Which is sad, considering all the offseason. And they went to the playoffs and actually gave the Bucs a game.
Right.
But I think the team that will make the playoffs is in the same division. It's going to be Dallas. Right now, it's Dallas's time. They better start winning before these contracts are up, and they have to pay all these players.
They basically are not going to sign
Not going to
Vayland.
sign who?
Oh, Van Der Esch. They're not
Van Der
taking.
Esch.
So he's a free agent now.
He's gonna be
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah, I'm more or less talking about CD Lamb. Did they re-sign Gallup?
No, I don't think they've re-signed Gallup yet.
Yeah,
And Cooper's
so-
got a big money deal. Eventually,
Yeah.
they're just going to run out of money. They're going to have to cut
Well,
guys.
that's the thing.
Exactly.
They're paying Amari $100 million. They're paying Zeke $90 million. They
I
just
think they'll
paid
play-
Prescott.
I think Zeke's the first one to go out of that group. I
Uh,
think that was a bad move. You don't pay the running back. That's the Rams. What they paid Tugger, and then 2 years later he's gone.
Right.
I think Zeke's next. If Zeke comes into training camp overweight and not ready to work and anything like that, look for him to be gone.
well,
Interesting.
and then they still got the offensive line that they're paying crazy money to. So again, right now is their time to win. Hopefully they don't screw it up, but who knows?
Definitely. Hey, can you bring that John Sucks comment up again real quick? He said said the Chargers and Giants would make the playoffs. Yeah, John's a faithful watcher, faithful commenter. Thank you, John. Thank you for commenting and stuff. John wants that T-shirt at the end of the month, so he's going to be commenting a lot. I think the Chargers will make the playoffs. I do like that. The Giants, I don't know. And the reason I don't know is because as a fan, I want to see Danny Dimes do well, but I'm not there with him. I'm
guessing a wild card. I'm guessing a wild card. I don't know if they're going to beat
there's not
the
going
Chiefs.
to be 2 teams.
For the Chargers, yeah. I mean, the Chargers will make it as a wild card. Yeah, they're not
Yeah.
going to win the division. They're not going to win the division. I mean, that division's weak because, Denver is not going to go anywhere at Bridgewater. Oakland. The Raiders are a mess still, if you ask me.
Raiders really blew the draft.
They blew the draft completely. They reached way too high for that kid out of Alabama in the first round. But they never do well in the first round. If you look at their history, they never do well. They never do. It's crazy. So I see the Chargers making it. I mean, obviously, I don't think Washington's going to make the playoffs. I'm going to go hot take here. I don't think Pittsburgh's making the playoffs this year. I think Ben is done. I think Roethlisberger is done. Even though I love the Najee Harris pickup, but I think Pittsburgh this is going to finally be the year where, Pittsburgh looks mortal. And I don't think they're making the playoffs because I think Baltimore and Cleveland are making the playoffs in that division. I think Pittsburgh's going to be the odd man out.
Pittsburgh lost a lot of offensive linemen too.
Exactly.
Bouncer retired. But Najee Harris is one of those backs that is a typical Pittsburgh type back,
right.
Big and fast and can run you over and beat you in the pass. But they lost too much on the offensive line for Ben Roethlisberger.
You could say the same thing. You could say the same thing for the Ravens. They just traded their best offensive lineman for a pick, and now Lamar's going to run even more. So I mean,
exactly. I think Cleveland's going to win that division this year. I really do.
It's possible. The Bengals aren't going to do anything.
And you talk about Baltimore getting rid of their best offensive lineman. That's going to give you 10 times more risk for Jackson to get hurt even more because he's running for his life.
Exactly.
Every single time. Yeah.
Exactly. It's crazy that and it's interesting how the good teams, the really good teams definitely improved. I mean, what Kansas City did making that trade is a phenomenal trade. I mean, Tampa's I'm calling Tampa all 22 this year because they got all 22 starters re-signed again. The draft choice of Trask is a great backup for Tampa. I mean, they were just drafting for fill-in spots for bench players. I mean, when you're drafting for bench players, who does that? It's crazy.
Just think about Trask. Trask is now sitting behind one of the best quarterbacks of all times.
Exactly.
He'll learn from the best. So he can transfer his stuff, his knowledge to him, and he's has to retire in a couple of years, and Trask is going to be right there. So you can have another Favre on Rodgers type deal. When Favre left, Rodgers stepped right in, boom, didn't miss a beat. So you can see the same thing for Tampa.
Exactly. Yes, Nate, that's definitely, you're pretty much right on that, I would say, for sure. One more interesting draft thing I want to talk about. I want to talk about New Orleans. New Orleans drafted Ian Book out of Notre Dame. So now they've got a quarterback room of Winston, Book, and Taysom Hill. Who starts? Who's going to start for them? I mean, they're all like, I don't know who starts for them. What do you think?
Well, Peyton came out and said that it's going to be Jameson's is going to be the starter. He's going to be the named starter. Jason Hill is going to go back to his roving the tight end position type deal what he did with Drew Brees there since they got Ian Book as a backup quarterback.
Mhm.
So right now Winston's going to be the starter. Hill's going to be that floating piece that goes out in flats or a tight end type deal. So that's what I've read about New Orleans, that Winston's going to become the quarterback. And I think another thing with Winston is he's got that eye surgery now. He's not squinting as much. So I think that squinting helped him for that 20 to 30 interception in Tampa. He had the surgery going in from last year to this year, so he had to recover a little bit. But I think now he's fully healthy with his eyes. I think that might be a better chance, and you might see a different Winston out there.
That'll be interesting. John wants to know, what grade did we give the Colts? Yeah. I mean, I know Felix wasn't crazy about what the Colts did because they didn't get anybody to protect Carson, right?
Yeah. Anthony Costanzo retired earlier in the year. So
right.
Okay, well, that's good enough.
I think they did get one good player out of there, and that's Pay out of Michigan.
Well, that's the guy I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He only had 2 sacks, though. I mean, what are you going to do in NFL if you only could do 2 sacks in college?
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
But I think they loaded up on the edge rushers because they knew Lawrence was coming into the division, so they loaded up on the defense, not worrying about their offense.
Which is I don't know. You need a quarterback to win nowadays, and if Carson's back, remember, he's already hurt. He's already injury prone.
Right. Exactly. All right. Well, let's move off the draft. Let's talk about this topic. Stephen A. Smith put out a list this week of the top 5 players without a championship. And I will read you his list. Let me get it right here. I had it here. Okay. This is who Stephen A. Smith
Here
had.
we go.
Yeah, this is Stephen A.
I'm ready.
He had number 1, Allen Iverson.
Yeah.
Okay. He had Barry Bonds, Charles Barkley, Carmelo Anthony, and Dan Marino. And he prefaced it's a professional championship. Because I looked at it, I'm like, wait, Melo won in college, and I'm like, wait, it's a professional championship.
Yeah.
So those are Stephen A. Smith's top 5. Now, as we know, Stephen A. Smith. I'm sorry, that was a really bad imitation. Let's start. Let's start with you, Felix. I mean, is this a decent list? I mean, who would you take out? Who would you put in?
So Iverson, I mean, he led the Sixers since he got drafted. But I don't think I agree. Bonds is weird for me because he won, he never won the World Series, but he tried to by doing all the steroids. I would put Barry Sanders on there because he's my personal favorite running back. Never won squat, and I feel bad for him for that. And I know Chuck never won anything. I get it. Barkley never won anything, but he played for the Sixers and the Suns. Right. And then I think he played a little bit for Houston, I think. But what are you expecting to win from that? So I got to put Lindros on there.
Interesting. I didn't think of Lindros.
Yeah. And then I got Marino on mine as well. So I feel bad for Lindros. He was supposed to win. We were supposed to win. That's why we traded the 17 players. Right. But it is what it is.
It is what it is. John Suggs said he's surprised Stephen A. Smith didn't mention John Stockton. That is an interesting pick. But we'll go when I go. I'll talk about that in a minute. But let's go to you, Ray.
All right, Felix took all mine. I mean,
sorry.
I'm an Allen Iverson fan.
I didn't take Ricky though.
Yeah, but I mean, Allen Iverson, man, that dude could do it all for a small player. For his stature, he could cross you over in a heartbeat. He crossed one of the greatest players of all time when he did Michael Jordan.
Oh, I was there.
To me personally, when he did his Hall of Fame speech, talking about the aura of Michael Jordan and all that stuff, you really feel like you were in the living room watching when he was sitting on that bathroom scene, watching the Michael Jordan play in his mom's bathroom and stuff like the way he described it. but Allen Iverson, he got bad rep because he didn't want, all those practice information and stuff like that. But Allen Iverson sometimes didn't need practice. That dude can go out there with blindfold and cross you over in a heartbeat, get by these guys. I mean, he was a one-man show for the Sixers.
I got a weird story. If when we're done, I could share it.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Felix. Tell a story now.
So there's a guy on the radio. His name's Billy King. He used to be the GM of the Sixers.
Okay.
And he used to say that they used to hide Iverson's jersey some days. That way, they would tell him, "Oh yeah, your jersey's not here. You can't play," because he would, he was ready to go every night, injury or no injury. And one game he would twist an ankle or something, so they would hide his jersey the next game to keep him off the court, which is crazy compared to nowadays where you just players say, "Yeah, I'm going to sit out." Iverson didn't believe in none of that. I'm going out there. I'm earning my money. That's why he has everyone in Philly and across the NBA. He has all their respect.
Yeah. And then Charles Barkley. I mean, you got to frown on some of the things because Charles, he played with the 76ers. He played with the Phoenix Suns. But that Phoenix Suns had Chicago Bulls on a rope. And I mean, it was Michael Jordan driving and kicking it out to Paxson for that three-pointer to win that game. I mean, you got to really feel sorry for Barkley because Barkley had some shots and chances. But then some of these great players had to go up against Michael Jordan and Chicago Bulls, and they tore away a lot of great players not getting rings and stuff. And I had a feeling, when Jordan retired, you still had Houston getting those rings and San Antonio, but Jordan wasn't in the league when they got those rings. So, Jordan did stop a lot of great players in getting rings.
Oh, he definitely did. He stopped a lot of my Knicks players and all those guys. So it's crazy. All right, Trey, what about you? Do you agree with Stephen A's top five? Who you put out? Who you taking in? What are you doing?
For the most part, I actually agree with Stephen A. Smith, and that's hard for me to do. I was a Laker fan growing up. I was a Kobe guy. But Allen Iverson was my second favorite player to watch. I loved Allen Iverson. And then whenever they played the Lakers, the way he carried that Sixers team to the championship and beat the dominant Lakers, the only loss the Lakers got in the playoffs was in that game one. A step back three over Ty Lue.
I remember that. Oh, man.
I remember that. I was like, I wasn't even upset. I'm like, oh, gosh, but Allen Iverson, I guess you can probably put Karl Malone on that list a little bit. He's the second highest scoring player in the league, hasn't won a championship. But then again, you win against Jordan, and no one is going to beat those Bulls teams. Dan Marino for sure needs to be on there. Probably was before. Remember, it's a pass-happy league right now, but Dan Marino was doing this whenever it was a run-first league back in the early 80s and 90s. And stuff. So Dan Marino, Charles Barkley, I feel no sympathy for. I just don't like the guy whatsoever. So that's just me personally. For Patrick Ewing, another guy that had a good Knicks team, a jump start. God, there's so much of them. But Reggie Miller.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about him too.
There's so many of them. But I feel bad for one player. He does have one championship, but Jerry West, man, he has one championship, but he's been to so many, he lost all those.
Right.
But this list, I'm pretty confident in it with what Stephen A. Smith said. But if you ask me, Allen Iverson for sure. Barry Sanders was one I was thinking of. Greatest running. I'm a big Cowboy fan. I still think Barry Sanders was the greatest running back ever in the league. He had no offensive line. If you put Barry Sanders behind him and Smith's offensive line, they'd probably win 4 championships.
Oh, yeah.
4 or 5.
Give him the ball. Just give him the ball.
In a heartbeat.
Barry Sanders was juking people in the back. Like, he was getting that ball handed off to him, and he was already people in the back. He was playing for a bag organization.
Yeah. Barry Sanders was the only reason to watch Detroit on Thanksgiving. That was the only reason when he was playing.
Yeah, me too.
Sure. That's
the only time you could watch them. They were never the
Exactly. I have some agreements and disagreements with the list myself. I definitely agree with Iverson. He carried that Philadelphia team that one year to the finals. They won when they went out. They win game 1, and I'm like, here we go. And then they get the next 4. Now, Felix, you were at that game where he did the crossover.
Yeah.
Was that in the old Spectrum, or was that? in the
No,
new
that was
arena?
that was at the new one. That was at
Oh.
First Union, I believe, or
When it was called First
it's called it's called Wells Fargo now. But yeah.
Right, exactly. So I definitely agree with Iverson, and I definitely agree with Marino. I got to put Ken Griffey Jr. on there. I love Ken
Yes,
Griffey
do I.
Jr. You know, yeah, he played
I
the
couldn't
game.
take them all. I got them
Yeah.
on my list, but I couldn't. I didn't want to take them all.
He played the game clean. He played the game at such a high level. You
He
know,
made
and
baseball cool too.
exactly. You know, and plus, you know, in that movie with I forget the movie. Little Big League where the grandson inherits the baseball team,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he's in the end of the, so there's that one. I grew up a Knicks fan, so Patrick Ewing for me. You know, I wanted to see Patrick get a ring so bad, and he got so close. You know, against Houston, and then freaking John Starks 2 for 17 or whatever, and then OJ getting in the way. You know, so that type of thing.
Was he in the series against the Spurs when Allen Houston and John Starks were on the team?
I don't remember.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Andrew would know that for sure. You know, Andrew, but I think that he retired afterwards. That was the year that the Knicks were the 8th seed.
Yeah,
and they upset Miami, and then so I don't think he was on that team.
Now, I got a story about Patrick Ewing after you get done with your stuff.
All right, cool. So as I said, Iverson, Griffey, Patrick Ewing, Marino, and I'm torn between Stockton and Malone because I love they are kind of one person if you think about it. Stockton Malone with the pick and roll. So you know what?
Yeah.
I'm the host. I'm putting Stockton and Malone together. I'm doing that. All right, Ray, what's your Patrick Ewing story?
Well, Patrick Ewing, he hates seeing Michael Jordan play because Michael Jordan took him care in college basketball for their championship. He got one after Jordan left, but he didn't get one in 82. And then Jordan stopped his NBA one.
Right.
His first, the first go around.
Right.
So,
but I know he got his against Akeem in college, but then Akeem got his against him in the pros. So it's crazy.
But
go ahead.
But about Patrick Ewing, he was going to sign with Carolina in college, but when he came to Chapel Hill, it was still not ready. You still had all the KKK people in the area and stuff like that. And some guy got wind of him, and then Dean Smith came to him and talked to him and said, "Hey, why don't you go to Georgetown?" That's why he went up to Georgetown and talked to John Thompson because Dean Smith and John Thompson was good friends. So Dean Smith knew he wasn't comfortable there.
Right.
So he said, "If you want to be really comfortable, you need to go to talk to John Thompson." And that's what happened. That's how he got recruited by John Thompson.
Right. And well, he had Sam Perkins anyway, so he kind of had that position filled. So that type of thing. That's definitely interesting. Very, very cool. John had put up another comment. He was talking about some of the newer players. I can't consider the newer players. Okay, yeah, Andrew Peterson and Randy Moss. I'm on the fence with those guys.
They were close.
Adrian Peterson, I don't care. I don't care if he wins one or not. Randy Moss, I feel this is a guy who he went to New England, was on that great team, and then one lucky freaking throw. I mean,
I'll take it.
Whole season, man. Randy Moss, he went from this I'm not gonna say thug, but he had a hard core, and then he just turned his life around, basically what you can say, and made it better for himself and went to New England, did it New England way and all this and that. And he had to put up this monster season with Tom Brady. And I really felt bad for him because he was one of the elite receivers in the league that you're ever going to see. And he's not going to win. I did feel bad in that 1 year. Adrian Peterson, I really give a rat's patootie if he wins or not.
Yeah.
You got to realize in Minnesota, he was very immature. And
that's what I was
when they traded him to the Raiders, that was 3 or 4 years that he was over there, and he wasn't relevant at all.
Exactly.
People forgot that he played. And then once they traded him to the Patriots, because I remember back then that Aaron Rodgers wanted him on Green Bay, and the Patriots said, "No, we'll take him." And look what happened: 16-0, and lost in the Super Bowl. But he had his opportunity. He wanted it. I mean.
He did. He definitely did. Speaking of that Super Bowl, there was an interesting comment before we get to our last chance. let me just find it real here from Tom Brady. I posted it today on the All Sports All Plays network page. By the way, everybody follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. A lot of cool stuff being posted there now. Let me find it. Yes,
Is
okay.
this the Julian Edelman?
No. Tom Brady said that he would trade 2 Super Bowl wins to go 19-0 and win Super Bowl 42 against the Giants. He actually came out and said that. He said they asked, he's like, I would. Let's be real. That's exactly what Tom said. It's quoted right here. So to give up 2 rings to go undefeated and win that 1 Super Bowl, I don't know. I guess a ring is a ring to me, but I guess going undefeated is the whole thing.
Well, yeah, you go undefeated, and plus the way they lost, right? It was that flukish, that catch. The guy never could have passed in his whole career, and he
Caught it one hand behind the helmet.
Exactly. That's crazy.
The way they lost, but you give it up to Tom Coughlin and then New York Giants. They knew exactly, because before that it was the end of the regular season. This is before they played the division in the regular season. The New York Giants were playing them in the end of the regular season on Saturday night.
I remember.
And they took them all the way to the wire, and everyone's like, too bad this won't be a Super Bowl matchup. This would be a great Super Bowl. And lo and behold, it happened.
And then they played again, and the Giants got them again. It's crazy,
That was the first 7-9 team to get to the playoffs, I believe, and win. Was the Giants?
They were
I remember
9-7.
No, they were 9-7 that year.
They were 9-7.
Yeah, they were the 6th seed. No, yeah, they were wild card. They were the 6th seed. They were 9-7.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they were 9-7. But that is.
I can say that I'm still 1972 was a great year because I was born and they won the Super Bowl. I'm still undefeated in 1972. So
there you go. Felix and Trent, you weren't here, but Ray, Ian was at the draft, and he actually did the Dolphins' last pick on the air, and he gets up there, he goes, representing the 17-0 only undefeated. It's I have to send you the clip, Ray. It's hysterical. You'll absolutely love it. It's so cool. All right, cool. You guys, great stuff tonight. Let's go to our last chance to bring it. Trey, since you're our guest this week, I'll let you go first. No, you don't want to go first?
I don't want to go first.
All right, Ray. What's your last hot take, last chance to bring it of the week?
My last hot take is my Braves are slumping and they're probably gonna miss the playoffs.
Oh, come on! This is what I hate about you baseball people. It's freaking beginning of May. Chill out.
No, because the Atlanta Braves got two key players that are injured right now. Besides, and it's costing them big time games. And then it showed in that Toronto series. And so far this year, has it gone? They got swept by the Phillies the first series, and they just keep losing. Then they win, then they lose. Then we lost 2 key players, and now we're back to losing again. That's their MO right now. Every other series they're losing
right now. But you wait. We still have June, July, August, September, 4 more months. Chill out.
Pitching's killing us. The bullpen is killing us right now.
Yeah, your team
killing you.
Killing me. They're killing me.
I think your team ERA is like one of the highest in the leagues right now, right?
Yep.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
but you're playing in a division that no team's going to run away with it.
No.
That is the saving grace of the NL East right now, which I'll talk about in a minute. So, I mean, look, at least Acuna is still showing up, so you got that going on. Hopefully, Freeman will get.
I mean, their offense is showing up, but their pitching is giving up. They got slacked by Toronto.
So you know what you do? Simple. You just bet the over.
Yeah, true. That is true right now.
Bet the over, exactly. All right, Felix, what's your last chance hot take for the week?
So I believe it was last night or the night before when the Phillies played the Mets, and there was a little bit of talking back and forth between Jose Alvarado, Phillies reliever, and Dominic Smith, the Mets hitter. I can't tell you how many times batters showboat. I'm going to hit the home run over there, all the walking, all the showing off with the hitting. The pitcher says one thing and gets suspended for 3 games. Okay. Baseball has gotten soft. They don't want rivalries anymore. They just want everyone to smile and play ball. What kind of game is that?
Exactly.
The umps have to stop with all the BS and just call the game as it should be. If someone says something, hey, warn them. The game before, the Phillies got 2 batters hit back to back. I think it was Bryce got hit in the face and then Didi got hit. And they threw out Joe Girardi, the Phillies manager. So how I don't know where the thought process is with that. But the umps really have to they took a black eye that I saw for the league.
For Harper to get up from that was amazing.
97 miles an hour.
I could not believe he just walked away from it.
I'm laying down, and I'm not moving.
Exactly. Elizabeth, I'm coming, Elizabeth. Exactly. All right, Trey, you're up. What's your last chance take of the week?
Karma is you know what?
Mm-hmm.
Last year, LeBron James says, "Well, it's cool to have this play-in tournament."
That was perfect.
Oh, it's cool to have the Kings and all these things. Yeah, we should have a tournament to let them have a chance to get in the playoff. Well, lo and behold, Freddie, I might get kicked off the A-Side Network for this one right here, but I don't care. It's worth the shot. Lo and behold, the Los Angeles Lakers are tied for the 7th seed. The only reason they're above Portland is because of a tiebreaker. But the Lakers, I see no scenario where they are going to get out of the 7, 8, 9, 10 range. There is no way with that schedule coming up. Freddie, LeBron James, Father Time's undefeated. Yes, what's happening to LeBron James? I'm just saying, he's getting older. At Father Time. Oh, not to look great, LeBron James. No. And another thing, I'll get off that soapbox. LeBron James cannot be called the greatest player in the world. Am I still with y'all?
No, yes. Keep going. We still hear you.
We say.
Did he freeze?
He froze.
Well, LeBron was here.
There we go.
There you go. There you go.
Right.
There we go. Okay. And I don't know if y'all saw this. That flop the other night where he went for a shot and the guy who just I forgot who he was playing went straight up, didn't even touch him. He's like, oh, my God. Don't give me this LeBron James. LeBron James can play in the 80s and 90s. Don't give me this crap anymore. I'm tired of it. Nope. And LeBron James is shut up. He's a crybaby. He's I can't stand. He's a great talent, but he's just the biggest crybaby in the world. Get off it. Lakers are not making the finals this year. They're going to get in the playoff game, and they might not even get out of the play-in tournament. I'm calling it right now. Lakers are not making the playoffs.
All right. I like that.
They lost the last 3 games.
That play-in tournament's scary because it's a 1-game elimination, right? You get Steph Curry who can drop 50 or 40 in one night and get you out.
Yeah, well, I think the way it works is the 7 plays the 10 and the 8 plays the 9. I think the winners play for the 7 speed and the losers play for the 8 seed, something like that. Yeah, it's something like that. It's pretty crazy.
And like I told Freddie on Just the Truth on Friday was LeBron James cannot play against that Detroit Pistons team, the bad boys team, because LeBron James will have been crying in a heartbeat because Bill Lambert will put you out in a heartbeat.
You get that, and I'm gonna say this to Felix. You think Iverson crossed over? What he would have done? What he would do to LeBron with that crossover? He would cross him
over.
Oh, forget it.
Man, LeBron would cry, man. He'd tell the refs that he stepped on him or something.
LeBron would be looking for his ankles, looking at the referee, saying that he traveled and everything else.
Exactly.
LeBron takes 30 steps before dribbling.
Exactly.
If that's the case, LeBron would be a Sixer. Because you want to play with him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. My last hot take of the week is I'm going to talk about the Mets-Phillies series. I'm going to specifically talk about last night. The game was lost on instant replay. What? This is ridiculous. Felix and I were going back and forth talking about this last night. As much as I wanted the Mets to win, I knew that game was tied. As soon as that ball left the bat, I'm like, freaking Diaz, once again, he blew it. And they actually go to replay, and they called a ground rule double. That was a home run. I'm sorry. I know the ground rules say, that was inbound. No, and they say the ball bounced it. No, that's a home run. How
does that happen? They reviewed it.
They reviewed it and they blew the call. There was another call in that series that they blew too. You know, there was two series. They got to get this replay thing straight. This has really gotten out of hand. You know, they've got to get it right. They've got to set the rules. All right, this is how we're going to call it. But there's no consistency in replay in baseball, and it's ruining the game, completely ruining the game. And you know, I wanted to see the Mets win last night, but that game should have been tied. It should not have been a Mets win.
So the Phillies won twice on instant replay. That showed that it was supposed to be a different outcome. Because that Braves one, they found a replay. The dude did never touch home plate. They did find a replay on that one,
right?
And it cost the Braves to tie that game up. Now the Phillies in another one with the Mets. So the Phillies are 2-0 on this instant replay stuff.
Well, no, the Phillies lost.
No, we lost.
Philly lost.
They lost.
Okay.
They lost.
Yeah,
So that's probably karma right there for them then.
Well, it's pretty hard to not tell the difference from a home run to a double. I mean,
yeah. Well, I mean, I think the umpires are, getting in there. They want to be on the TV more, and than the players.
And that's what's ruining the game. That's why they're going to take them out of the game, because these balls and strikes that they're calling, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
So inconsistent.
It's
so
like,
inconsistent.
It's like, do you guys even want to?
Well, this is why. This is why a lot of people are getting turned off by baseball.
That too.
Yeah, the umpire to have 3 inches off the corner of the plate, call a strike, and then it's ridiculous. A strike is a strike. It's a strike. It's a strike. You don't need to be doing all this crap.
Right.
I forget. Was it last night when they called McCutchen when he got touched by the ball when he never even got hit, never even got tagged? Last night or the night before?
It might have been
the night before, I think.
Yeah.
And they couldn't even review it. I'm like, what the hell is going on? So
exactly.
Listen,
if you watch
what it is.
If you watch the home plate umpires when they call balls and strike, they'll wait till the catcher catches the ball and pulls it back over to see if it's going to be a strike. And they wait for the catcher to move that. If they initially with the catcher catches the ball, that's where the strike is supposed to be called or a ball is supposed to be called.
Yeah.
They don't even do that.
Catcher's been doing that. The catchers have been doing that for years.
Yeah.
But
the umpires have never done it until it's been a couple of years though.
Yeah, because umpires always, even though the catcher's moving back, they wait for the first wherever they first connect. These guys are waiting for the catcher to bring it back in so they can call it.
Sometimes they wait for the batter to either, walk to first base if it's a 3-2 count. Oh, it's a ball, and they start walking. Yeah. And then as soon as they start walking, you're out. And like, you kidding me? You're at my knees.
No, but baseball has gotten weird. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Nate. I'm seeing to go back to school. Baseball, as Felix said, baseball has gotten soft. It's just gotten crazy. All right, well, guys, we're out of time, man. Once again, we all killed it. You guys brought it. Thank you so much, Trey. Thank you for helping out this week. Really appreciate it. It's going to be another good week. You never know what's going to happen. I mean, Aaron Rodgers might get traded this week. He might not. I mean, LeBron might decide to play, might not play. Who knows? I mean, anything can happen. So, everyone, we will see you guys next week. Stay tuned. Real Talk's up at 9:30, and then Sports Corner's on at 11. So just stay here on the network. Got lots of great shows coming up, and we will see you guys next week. Have a good night.
Peace.
Later.